Satya highlighted the key new features of the Office 365 developer program in the Build keynote, and the new capabilities that light up for developers. And Rob Lefferts, in the same keynote, demonstrated key examples of partner solutions and the new Office 365 capabilities with different demos throughout the Office portion of the keynote. Well, the Ignite keynote introduction, all by itself, that was pretty exciting, I thought. But in particular, in the Ignite keynote, Satya spelled out exactly how his mobile-first, cloud-first strategy is blending Microsoft's communications, productivity, and social and software services together. In my opinion, it was the perfect keynote topic to begin with, given the fact that Ignite is really a combination of all the conferences that previously focused on each of these pieces individually. He showed everyone in the audience, and the whole world for that matter, examples of the new blended software and services approach. He energized everyone, no matter which aspect of Microsoft technology they predominantly worked with, by demonstrating the tangible improvements the new strategy is already providing and will provide in the future as well. Overall, I'd say my key takeaway from Build is Microsoft continues to really heavily invest in the Office 365 platform, and equally important, they're investing in helping developers use the platform as well. My key takeaway from Ignite is Satya's mobile-first, cloud-first strategy is evolving at a very rapid pace, and Steve Ballmer's devices and services strategy is now really in the rearview mirror. I'm excited to see how Microsoft's products and services continually evolve within this new strategy. How has the cloud affected our business? Well, it's a couple different ways it has affected our business. First, because we do a lot of work with Microsoft to create code samples and videos and articles and demos based on their latest and greatest cloud technology, we've got to continually learn the new technologies and patterns associated with the cloud so we can make these materials for them so they can distribute them to the public and help people learn how to use these technologies as well. Second, I mentioned we do product development, and product development now really occurs with the cloud in mind. We found there are many different angles to consider when regarding cloud as new products are developed. To mention a couple, the first angle is obviously your customers. When targeting customers who use the cloud, Office 365 customers, for example, we need to ensure that our products are designed to work appropriately with cloud-based tendencies. Another angle is understanding when it makes more sense to implement a solution that takes advantage of cloud technologies. For example, some of the mobile apps we're now working on use cloud technologies such as Microsoft Azure for data storage and manipulation. But really, finally, at our core, we're a consulting organization. And at this point in time, most of our clients are still using on-premise SharePoint farms. So we haven't seen a huge amount of client requests to implement solutions in the cloud. Although, as time has gone by over the last couple of years, we are seeing the demand for cloud-based solutions increase. I do see a change there. I mean, it's obvious when you're at the conferences and you talk to the customers who are coming into the different kiosks and booths that Microsoft has. There's a tremendous amount of interest in the cloud. Many people are saying, my company is moving to the cloud. Can you help me understand how to do that? So I think we're going to see that speed up a whole lot here in the next year or two. I think it's easy to see how the vendor portion of the ecosystem is evolving. Vendors have quickly adapted their products to work with the new cloud platforms. K2 and Nintex are two really good examples of how quickly some vendors have enhanced or modified their products to work with both on-premise and cloud-based SharePoint. The vendor piece of the ecosystem seems to be evolving more rapidly than the other pieces. I'd say that the partner portion of the ecosystem is not evolving across the board, at least, as quickly as the vendors are. Some partners are really embracing cloud technologies and helping their clients move to cloud solutions, while other partners remain deeply entrenched in on-premise SharePoint and Office technologies. I have friends who work for a couple consultancies who focus a whole lot on government projects. And the government projects are not moving to the cloud as quickly as a lot of the private sector things are. That's a good example of that. I think it pretty much depends in general how much access each partner has, number one, to the new cloud technologies before they're released to the public, so they can ramp their skill sets up and really afford to take on those types of projects, as well as how many of their clients are moving to the cloud. Because at the end of the day, if your clients aren't there and doing that, you're probably not going to do much more than just exploring the cloud. The last piece of the ecosystem is the community, right? I'd say today members of the community create many new articles, blog posts, and code samples pertaining to both on-premise SharePoint and Office 365. To me, it's a pretty clear indication that on-premise SharePoint is still heavily being used by many organizations, because people wouldn't blog about it if they weren't working on it, would they? I think much of the content we see today about cloud technologies out there on the internet from the community, it seems to be more exploratory in nature at this time and less focused on real-world implementations and stories of people telling about the cloud. That says to me folks are generally really excited about it, but they really don't have a lot of clients who are making the investments kind of by a default in the cloud at this time. If you think about the hybrid environments, though, you do see a lot of content that's real-world content appearing on the internet from the community right now about what they have done with hybrid environments. So I think that's a really clear indication that people are doing hybrid environments, and the ecosystem is actually evolving into hybrid environments quicker than it seems to be evolving into cloud only. When you think about that, I really think Microsoft's already doing a great job empowering everyone to transition to the cloud. In my opinion, the key things they're doing really well is sharing their product roadmaps. They're making the user voice websites now where users can go be empowered to help shape the new features that come to the cloud. They're creating open source SDKs, so if the SDK they make, for instance, for Android or iOS doesn't meet your needs, you have all the code right there that handles authentication in your basic interaction, and you can build on top of it to touch their APIs to really enhance that SDK for exactly what your needs are. We've never seen that before in Microsoft SDKs. I think that's a really big deal. I also think establishing the Office 365 developer program that I mentioned before is a really big deal. You know, Microsoft launched that Office 365 developer program just a few weeks ago at Build. And this is the first time ever that Microsoft Office has had a dedicated communication and engagement program for developers, which is not part of MSDN. So that's like a really big landmark thing if you think about the enormity of what they're doing here for Office developers. The Office 365 developer program includes quick start labs, code samples, API documentation, and many other learning materials to really enable developers to quickly ramp up on these technologies. So I think if Microsoft continues to do these things and put as much heart and effort into them that they are doing so far, everyone is going to be really well empowered to move to the cloud in a pretty intelligent fashion. I always approach things from a very pragmatic point of view when I'm doing architecture and development and helping people build systems to support their companies. And with that kind of approach I take, I'd say my one piece of advice is really understand what a cloud technology offers you before you make the move to the cloud. It's really important to understand the pros and cons of the cloud technology, what functionality the cloud technology can bring you, what your investment is going to look like to move forward to the cloud, and very importantly as well, how moving to the cloud is going to affect your infrastructure, your systems, and your personnel. Because some workloads that you need with on-premises SharePoint, for example, you don't need that workload to such a degree if you're in the cloud. For instance, the SharePoint administrator and those things that happen in central admin, if you're super specialized in that right now, as you move to the cloud, you don't need as much specialization because Microsoft is standing up the tenancy And now your skills as a SharePoint admin shift to more of the Office 365 admin to understand how to learn their tools and administer your environment appropriately. So that's like a real-world example I've seen happen to clients before that they didn't consider ahead of time. And that's really got me thinking about this whole big picture of, as I said, really understand all these pieces about the cloud tech, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what's going to change, what pieces you need to move there. Once you've got all that, that's the one piece of advice I would say you need to have. Then you can plan accordingly and really intelligently move to the cloud with the least disruption on your company as possible. My name is Todd Baginski. At Canvas, we are a software consulting and product development shop. We focus on SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure cloud technologies. We also do a lot of work with mobile as well as business intelligence, and you can find me online. My Twitter handle is @Todd Baginski, and that's TODDBAGINSKI.